super excited about this podcast. Welcome back to the Bloom Podcast, everyone. We are here, and today we are greeted by an amazing guest. I met this girl like 6 months ago. She blew me away. She's a content creator, a consultant, and a host of the Honestly podcast. Introducing our guest, Hilary Krueger.
You said it right. Yes. Were you thinking about it? You're like, it's not Krueger, it's Krueger.
Kind of. My dad has a friend. His name's Tim Krueger.
Oh, okay,
I don't know if you're related or not, but
no, probably not.
Pretty cool
easy
guy.
to remember.
Yeah, easy to remember. But yeah, so Hilary's on the podcast today. Hilary, why don't you just start by kind of introducing yourself to people? Think of like the last time you jumped in an Uber and the Uber driver's like, what do you do? Like, how would you describe to the people what you do?
I think in its simplest form, what I do is help people get confident and comfortable creating organic content on social media, additionally email marketing, to get buyers for life, essentially, and doing it through telling their story and personal branding, because I think that marketing at its core is truly personal branding, because people buy from people, not from a business. Super simple example is like if you go on Instagram and you see Joanna Gaines and her company is Magnolia, who has more followers? Joanna Gaines does, like 5 times the amount. Magnolia is the business. Joanna Gaines is the face. When you think about like Tesla, who do you think of right away? Who owns Tesla? Elon. He's a personality. He's a personal brand. So like that's what I help people do, is feel confident in telling their stories so that when people buy from their business, they know that they're buying from a human being, not just a business and they're just a number and trying to take their money.
Wow. Super interesting. Did you write that down?
I don't know. I feel like I've said it a couple times, maybe.
But that's super interesting. And I think like I like your philosophy of like people buy from people.
Yeah.
And I actually saw this thing the other day, and you might be able to fill me in on this stat, but it was like people are 70% more likely to buy from like a person, or buy because a person told them about something, than like because they liked the product or found this brand or something.
I mean, you guys know this, but like marketing, you can market your business in 3 different ways. You can do it paid, which is like ads, which is like Google ads or Facebook ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, like LinkedIn, whatever it is. Or you can do organic marketing, which is what I teach, which is takes your time, not necessarily as much of your money, or referrals. Think about like creatives like you guys, or people that own a photography business. Sometimes photographers don't have to post for a year because they're just given so many referrals, because the results speak for themselves. They're just, the family gets their pictures taken. They're like, you need to go see Chase. Okay, the next thing, it's like, then that person tells the next person. Soon enough, there's people that are DMing them. They realize they haven't posted anything in a year because they're so busy with referrals. So I think like if you can nail down all 3 of them and you have the capacity and the bandwidth to do that, like you can have a $1 billion business if you lock down your paid ads, your organic marketing, and your referrals. Like who does that really well? I mean, there's companies out there that do that really fucking good.
And that's a lot, yeah. I mean, to master all 3 of those things, though, is not easy.
And I think that if you want to get your paid marketing to do really well, that's what a lot of my clients start off with, is they're just told, just pay for some Facebook ads, just pay for some Google ads, put some money behind it. Well, if they don't have a solid message with their organic marketing and they can't sell to their hot leads, how are you going to get somebody who's never heard of you before to literally buy from you if you can't even get the people who have been following you on social media for 2, 3, 4 years to buy your products? Like you have to really hone in on your organic marketing, your social media, your website design, like making that all cohesive so that you get so busy with the people in your current audience that you are ready to expand and go into ads.
Yeah. No, that's super good advice. And Hilary's jumping right into it. We haven't even got through. We have the rapid fire segment.
Oh my
we have
God,
the rapid fire segment, but this is Hilary. This is how you're always just really. I feel like I love just your energy. That was like the first thing I noticed about you, I think.
Who wants to go and kiki and BS at a coffee shop for 30 minutes before actually being like, how are you really? Like literally just sit down and like get right to it. We're all super busy. We're all creatives. We're all behind on some projects. Like we don't have fucking time to just like BS and just like, oh, how are you? It's like, no, like what's going on?
That's
true.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to kind of run through, can we run through this rapid fire segment stuff real quick? I think I want to just give people a little bit of background on you because I think you're actually pretty inspiring. And I think for sure for me, but I think a lot of people could understand like how, I don't know, just the kind of person you are through some of these questions. So when did you start creating content and consulting as a job with social media?
Okay, so I started creating content the moment that I knew that Instagram was a thing. I also started creating content even before that. I worked at a golf club, and in order to have Facebook, you had to have a college email address. I'm aging myself here. I'm significantly probably older than you guys, but you needed to have a college email address. So I somehow got somebody's college email address so that I could literally start posting on Facebook because I wanted to. So I've always been creating content. I had always been told that I'm an oversharer. I always post my life online. I didn't necessarily make vlogs or anything like that, but I was always just like comfortable showing up online. I started my marketing, agency about 5 years ago now. I started really honing in on storytelling, content marketing when we opened our gym, which was a little over 5 years ago. We sold it 3 years ago. 2 years in, it was in Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I made it a point to post about our gym, the members of our gym, the story of how we started our gym, about me and Tyler and our business partner at the time. I knew that was really important. And I also knew that email marketing was really important. So I would say always been posting on social media, became really interested in how to utilize it from a connection standpoint like 5 or 6 years ago.
Super, super interesting. And obviously today, I think I just looked, you have is it 57,000 on TikTok?
Yeah, probably.
57,000 followers on TikTok, 8,000 followers on Instagram. You've been you're always consistently posting. I think people always get in their own way and they come up with excuses to why they can't do things. Tell the people about your family. Tell how many people you got running around the house, all the things you have managing aside from just the content.
I think that it's so funny when you say what my numbers are because I have clients who have millions of followers. I'm just like, oh yeah. And then the next question that people say, they're like, well, why can't you do that for yourself? It's like virality doesn't pay the bills. Sometimes I have a video that only has 1,000 views and I will get 20 inquiries from that one video. So virality doesn't pay the bills. It's making sure that you have a niche market and a niche message. And that leads me to, I have 4 kids. 4 kids. 4 kids. Yes, 4 kids. I started, really honing in on my stuff during the pandemic when all 4 kids were home. 3 kids were home, pregnant with my 4th baby. And I got a lot of stuff going on.
That's wild.
That is crazy because I know there's people out there that have 2 kids and they're like, I could not make content. Are you kidding me? I have 2 kids.
It's really telling that if you are friends with a mom or a parent, and they actually make time for you, you better hone in on that time and you better realize all the steps that we had to do to make that time with you happen. It's like, you don't have to acknowledge it every time, but just know that if we're hanging out and we're getting coffee, I'm not trying to say that I'm way high up here, but dude, I got a lot of schedules. I feed 18 people a day. Yeah. That's 3 meals, 6 people, 18 people a day I feed. We only go out to eat 1 time a week.
Wow.
There you go.
Down to it. What is the most essential equipment that you consider for the content creation process?
Your iPhone and a window with good lighting.
Nice.
Lighting makes a difference.
Look at, he's got all this stuff.
Yeah. No,
nice.
Down to the basics though. That's really all you need.
You need your phone, good lighting. I would beg that good sound quality is better than good video quality.
Speaking of sound quality, I think they're testing the alarms in the background. So if you can hear a little humming or anything like that, Not really sure. Minnesota, what the heck? We're filming a podcast here, but I think we should. I don't think it'll be too
because a lot
bad.
of people do voiceovers, and like I don't know, I watch a lot of those, and just, if it sounds good, but the video's like not that good, I'll still tune into it though. So that is interesting.
And then if you pair them together, I think that a lot of people I just had a sales call, discovery call right before we filmed, right at noon. And she was telling me like, I created this room and I wallpapered it. I got a new pink chair. I got a ring light. And I'm like, oh, great. So like, how's it going? She's like, I haven't posted yet. So it's like people convince themselves that they need something else before they do it, or they need to work behind the scenes before they actually like move forward with creating content. Instead, you'll get to the good content the more you create, so that you know what people align with, what your message is, what is it that you're going to create. It's not going to come from your brain. It's going to come from your audience, what they resonate with.
Mm-hmm. Super, super good. What is the most challenging aspect of being a female content creator in your opinion? And it doesn't have to be like female specific, but it just like could be a female specific struggle.
Man.
I know mine.
As a female? As a woman?
Not as a no, as a male, just as anyone. I just think like being consistent, I think, is the hardest part.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think, 100% agree. Most people come to me because they lack consistency in their organic content, in their organic marketing. They don't have money to run ads yet. They need somebody to hold them accountable. They need somebody to just like be there. And if you don't want to pay me to help you create the content or come up with I don't make the content, come up with the content concepts, like find a good friend and run a challenge within each other, put some skin in the game, say, I'm going to contribute $50. You're going to contribute $50. We're going to post every single day for 30 days. We don't care what it is. We just have to put it out there. And then whoever does it for those 30 days, whoever does it the most of those 30 days, they get the $100. Like, I think that we need like external motivation in order to be internally motivated. But I do believe that there's 1% of the people out there in the world that will just one day wake up and just do it on their own. And they have this like X factor. I bet both of you have it, but they have this X factor that they don't have this like mentality that entitlement. Like they just wake up and they're like, I'm a hustler. I'm going to work hard for my dreams. I'm going to do this. And they do it within themselves. But most of the world needs external motivation to get started.
And the external motivation you're talking about would be like a competition of like who's going to post the most. You get this reward at the end.
Or steal motivation, my motivation in you, that you have an amazing product and a great service that more people need. I believe in you. You don't believe in yourself. You check in with me daily. I give you the ideas for the content. You create it. Then you see that, oh, I'm getting views. Oh, I'm getting comments. Oh, people are inquiring to work with me. You're right, Hilary. But in order for you to get there, you had to steal my motivation in you in order to get to that spot. And most people don't just wake up and do it. They need external motivation to get started.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of like that imposter syndrome of like, I don't know, like you are something, but you don't really believe you are something, but then everyone tells you you're something and you're like, you almost need someone to be like, you're a content creator, you're doing the right thing, you could get a brand.
So how important is like having that circle that is that those people in your circle, you know, to like get you motivated to do that? Because I don't know, I was telling Chase before, like I used to not be like a morning person at all, but like lately me and like my cousins, my brother, we're all like kind of holding each other accountable with like working out and stuff. So I was like, one day I was like, I'm going to wake up at 4:30 a.m., 5 a.m. and just start going work out in the morning. So I have the rest of the day to like do other stuff or create content or like work on other projects. So yeah, I kind of relate to that when you said like, oh, just like one day, just going to like do it. And I do that with creating too. Like I'm going to decide to do like create something today and I like have an idea. Then most of the time I'm just going to like do it.
Yeah. You're just like the 1%.
Yeah.
I think too, being a content creator is kind of like being a coach in sports. It's an unforgiving job. Like you're constantly getting berated, and not even like if you're just I don't want to say it like lower on the totem pole, like you have like 2,000 followers or 500 followers, you're still getting berated by your parents, by your close friends. What are you doing? Why are you putting that out there? Like nobody's liking your stuff. Nobody's commenting, yet you're still choosing. You're choosing you. Every day you're waking up and you're saying, I'm choosing me and I'm going to post this. I don't care what my friends say. I don't care what my parents say. I don't care that it's not going to go viral. I still have this like passion and this thing on my heart that I want to put out there, whether it's a picture that you took or something that you're passionate about or something that you're eating, something that you're curious about, and you're putting it out there. I mean, man, if having an online business or a business in general or creating content was easy, everybody would be doing it. But because they're not, it's like they have this like external jealousy that they hate on what they don't know. Like you guys know how hard it is to create content, and it's not the actual content. It's literally the motivation and the mindset that you have imposter syndrome. You're putting it out there. Is this good enough? I don't know. Are people going to resonate?
And that's actually super interesting you say that, because there's someone that I went to high school with, and I feel like I wasn't that close, or I wasn't that like good of friends with him or this person. And now I see them on TikTok, and I'm like, and they're like creating consistent content.
Yeah.
And I feel like most people from high school would like clown on that person. Oh, look at him now. He's a TikTok guy, whatever. Yeah. But I look at them like, that is so respectable. Like shout out that guy. I've actually like reconnected with him, talked with him a few times, because I'm like, I know how hard what you're doing is. Like that is not easy to like put yourself out there and make this kind of content and be vulnerable. He's pretty vulnerable online. And I'm just like, that's super insane. So I think that's a really, really good point, is you need to like have that authenticity, that vulnerability to be like, I don't care what people think. I'm putting it out there and I'm doing it.
And it's hard. Like we just talked about before we pressed like record, is that you get people that maybe they're from high school that have fake profiles and just want to slander you with only seeing that 30-second video that you posted out of, however many seconds are in a day. And they just keep going and going and going, on top of when you first got started, your parents didn't understand and your friends didn't understand. And now you got old high school friends who don't understand. And now you got trolls on the internet who want to bring you down. Yet you still show up and you still post and you still do it. Like, content creators are superheroes.
How do you get to that point of like, let's just say someone does have like a lot of anxiety with like social media. How do you get to that point of like, I don't give a fuck anymore? Like, how do you get to that mindset? I know it's like probably a build up, or like, kind of, I don't know, showing up for yourself that way. And then you start to like get more confidence, and then you start just doing whatever. Like, was there a point for you where you were able to get to that mindset, or were you always just like that?
I think that I always tell a couple of my good friends this, that I'm really fiery, but I'm also a delicate flower. So it's like, I try to put on this front that I don't care, but now my trolls are going to watch this and they're going to be like, oh, now I know it gets under your skin. Like, yeah, dude, it does sometimes. So you just have to have that like person or people who do what you do or understand what you do, that you can just say, I need your support. This is like getting a little therapy-esque. I'm just going to say it, but there's 4 ways to support people. You can support them being a cheerleader. You can support them. Do they need just you being a calm voice to listen to what it is that they have to say? Or do they need like care? They need a hug, or do they need like advice? You guys, both of you can probably think, oh, when I need advice, I go to this person. When I need a cheerleader, I go to this person. When I need somebody to just hug me, I go to this person. And I think like, I know that. And I also know myself. Another thing too, if you aren't confident in who you are, you will never be able to show up authentically as you. And then you'll never be able to sell. And when I first get started working with people, that's what we work on. I literally ask them this 3-word question. I say, who are you? Don't tell me your job. Don't tell me where you live. Don't tell me your age. Don't tell me even your sex. Mm-hmm. Who are you at your core? And they're just like, and a lot of times I'll get moms to be like, well, I'm a mom. I live in St. Paul. No. Who are you?
Yeah.
They don't know. They can't answer it.
What's a good answer for that then?
If somebody were to ask me,
yeah,
because I've worked
Hilary?
through it, I am fiery, optimistic, happy-go-lucky. I'm pretty brash. I tell it like it is. No BS, straight shooter, very doting, high energy, have FOMO. I'm an Enneagram 8. See, now I transitioned. I'm an Enneagram 8. You guys probably don't know that. But like,
yeah,
that's who I am. I'm super loving. I'm a mama bear. I'm like loyal to a fault.
And those things, right? So that's amazing. So you start there, you break that down, and you know exactly who you are. And then all the content that you post is then kind of playing into that character and truly who you are then?
Exactly it.
Yep.
Because when you get that first person that is from your high school and they say, Chase, you're a fraud. You say, I'm not.
Yeah.
Because you know who you are. You're not hiding behind your business. You are you. And you can say, I'm not a fraud and I'm passionate about my work. And I'm sorry that you feel that way, because where's that like, you know, negativity coming from? It's them not having self-love.
Yeah.
They don't love themselves. And the other feeling that they have is jealousy. So yeah, do I fight back on trolls? Yeah, sometimes. Do I want to tell them no? Yeah. A lot of times I want to say that, but I also don't want to feed into it, and I just want to give them some grace. I'm not going to be like, oh, God bless you. No. Yeah. I'm going to be like, dude, I'm sorry. You don't love yourself? Maybe we should work together.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
All really, really good points. And that's, I mean, you have these steps and stuff that you go through. And I think like even we're just getting a little glimpse into it, like when you're working with people. Were you working with Matt? Well, obviously Matt just like blew up again. Dr. Matt, he came on the podcast. Yeah. He just blew up kind of again, but he's kind of just steadily been blowing up. Were you working with him through his whole journey?
So I started meeting with Matt and then Josh last June. So I spoke to their clinic and then I started working with them. Like we meet every Thursday, like last June. And Matt is a true testament of what you said is very hard to do as a content creator, and that is showing up consistently. I mean, he has posted every day 2 to 7 times a day for 16 months. Dude, yeah. That's insane. That is insane. Wait, and here's where it gets crazier. He's got a wife. He's got 2 kids. He owns a chiropractic clinic. He coaches in the mornings at a fitness studio at Barry's here. He creates online courses and programs. He's actually the mayor of Minneapolis. Not really, but it's like insane.
Pretty much, yeah.
And he still texts you to check in to see how you're doing. Like, what?
I asked him when he was on the podcast, I said, how do you balance everything? And he said it wasn't about balance, it was about harmony, which I love it. He says everything in his life is just harmonized.
He's just a little fluffy dude.
I know.
A 6'5" fluff ball.
He is a lot bigger in person too. But I want to get into kind of like the main topic, or the first kind of like big chunk that I want to talk about. And I think like if someone's listening, if someone's tuning into this podcast and they want to become a content creator, they want to like make a living off social media, they want to work from their phone and kind of be their own boss. I want to like give them some ideas and background on like how to do this stuff, because you've done it. And I think you can give a lot of good insight on it. So the topic is kind of, where is it here? Getting started utilizing social media as a job. Like, how do you get started? How does someone, I guess the first question is, how does someone pursue a job as a social media content creator?
Yeah. Okay. So the very first thing that I would say is if you came to me, you're like, I want to work from home. I want to start creating content and I want to make money doing it. The first thing I would ask you is, what are you passionate about or what are you curious about? I think that sometimes people, I'll say, what are you passionate about? Like, I'm not really passionate about anything. I'm passionate about kids. Okay. What are you curious about? Well, I just started working out every single day for the last 12 months and I meal prep and I plan and I'm always watching how these moms are hacking their meal planning and how they're hacking their budget. I read about it all the time. Okay, you're curious about that. So let's start creating content and document your day and document your curiosity. Talk to your people, your audience about what you're doing, what you're reading. Invite them into the conversation and then start sharing your story about it. That's like a quick example. Document over create, share your curiosity, invite your audience that you currently have into the conversation, serve over sell. Serve and share and do organic marketing and tell stories. And when I say stories, it's not like your life story, just like do a day in the life, a get ready with me, tell funny stories about your kids. I'm a mom of 4 kids, so it's easy for me to just regurgitate what a mom should do. But in my mind, you should never create content or show up on social media to make money. You should do it because you have something on your heart and your mind that you're curious or passionate about, and you will make way more money than that content creator who goes in and says, I want to make money.
Yeah. Interesting.
What? Is that a bad answer?
No, I think it was really, really good. Honestly, I think that because I personally, I'm like guilty of like starting, and I'm like, I have a pretty like business forward mind, but I'm guilty of like starting by thinking like, how could I make money doing this? Or like, I don't know, we just did some like interviews at the fair and stuff like that. And I was like immediately like thinking like, oh, could I do this like as a full-time job? Could I get sponsorships doing this? And like my mind goes there, but I think you're right. Like if it's not in your heart of hearts and like you're just doing it for the money, you're probably not going to end up in the best spot.
I had a call like a year ago with a wife of a podiatrist, and a podiatrist is a foot doctor. And she was just like, he's a foot doctor and he's always dealing with runners who have these like foot ailments. So I think he needs to create a course, and he knows he should create a course on helping runners with their running form so they don't have to see him as often. And I think he could make a lot of money doing that. I was like, okay, red flag for me, because here's the deal. You need to have these 3 things. You have to have something that is a gift. People call it your superpower. Like, what do people come to you for? What are you really good at? The next thing is your credibility. What are you known for? What did you go to school for? What are you like good at? And the third thing is, what are you passionate about? Those 3 things are like your secret sauce, what you should be doing. Like that's your life calling. That's your thing that you should be doing. On that phone call with that wife, he didn't have passion. He just thought, people ask me questions about this, I'm good at it. That business will never work. He won't sell enough courses to make a living to leave his job because he's not passionate about it. Mm-hmm. He doesn't want to show up on TikTok talking about feet.
Yeah.
It'll never be successful.
Versus the person who's been working out, meal prepping. I could think of 100 content ideas for them. They could document their life every day, do meal plan menus, they could sell like their meal plans online. They could sell their workouts.
Totally.
They could do so much more. Yeah.
That's why, I'm a millennial, but even what is above me before a millennial? What? Gen X? Gen X.
Above you in what way?
Like
older?
Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z.
Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z.
So I get some like Gen X, Gen Y clients, and they'll say, I'm a dietitian. I went to school for nutrition. These little 21-year-old girls are making millions of dollars on TikTok with their uneducated meal plans and workout plans. And I say to them, are you passionate about food? Do you show up and talk about how this is helpful? Will you show up and serve knowing that you could never make $1 on this? And they're like, well, no, I just went to school for it. Cool. You're not passionate about it. That 21-year-old who literally built her body from the ground up after an eating disorder during college and documented her time doing that. She's curious, she's passionate, people ask her questions about it, and now she has a gift of content and sharing her story. Of course they're gonna buy from her.
And it's like, do you even have the personal brand to be able to sell your course or anything like that? Like that 21-year-old has worked at creating content to build that personal brand to then release the course or the meals or whatever and sell that.
Totally.
So, super cool, interesting stuff. Next question for kind of getting started on social media. Do you believe someone needs to pick a platform? I think it's so funny. Everyone is like, what platform are you gonna pick? What platform are you gonna use?
Okay, so I believe, personal opinion, yes. I call it marketing stacking, organic marketing stacking. I want you to go all in on one platform. I want you to get so busy and realize how that audience resonates. What do they want to hear from? What do they want to see? What do they want you to create? How are they engaging? How can you hack that? Okay, cool. You have a good consistent flow with that. Let's add another marketing platform. Now let's start at TikTok. Then let's transition to Instagram. How can I hack Instagram? Okay, that's been good. Let's add another layer. Now let's condense all our videos to YouTube Shorts. If you decide, this is an opinion, it's not written in, statistics or facts that I know of because I can't look it up right now. But if you just create one piece of content and you disperse the same content among many different platforms, in my opinion, it will be an okay version. Because what me as a consumer says, this is riveting, is that you want to make money, you don't want to serve me. You want your message to be heard and be copy pasted on all these different platforms. You don't want to serve me. You want to sell to me. That's an opinion.
Interesting.
That's an opinion.
I like it though. I think and nailing down what your main platform is I think there's ways you can look at it both ways, but if you look at some of the most successful creators, they started on YouTube and now they make YouTube and TikTok contenters. So
I think that there's different types of people do better on different platforms. Photographers kill it on Instagram. If you are a vulnerable, honest, organic creator that wants to do more talking head content, TikTok is it. If you are maybe an insurance agent and you want to write more long form blogs, okay, cool. Let's get you on LinkedIn. If you are a person who makes fucking dog collars, okay, that's a product-based business. You do really good with voiceovers on TikTok, and then let's create some killer photos for your Etsy shop and write some good captions.
Yeah.
There's different audiences for different platforms. When I first got on TikTok, I've only been on TikTok for 2 years. Obviously, I have 10 times the amount of followers that I do, not 10 times, but nearly 10 times the amount of followers I have on Instagram. I started Instagram when I was 19. I'm outing myself. I'm about to be 34. So it's
yeah. Dang, that's crazy. And that's interesting because I think even as what do you think about brands though? Because as a brand, we create content and then we push it on all platforms. Just because, I don't know, you think that we should simply stick to one. What do you think is the best platform for brands, I guess? Maybe that's my question.
TikTok. You'll get the highest paying brand deals. It'll be the easiest to get your stuff seen, visible, your message heard. You're more likely to go viral on TikTok. It's the second largest SEO platform after Google. There is no way that if you create consistent content on TikTok, you do 2 to 3 to 5 videos a day for 90 days, you will go viral if you are in a niche market. Don't come for me if that doesn't happen for you, but it's just literally, it's inevitable. It will happen.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So.
Okay, cool. So you changed up your marketing plan?
Maybe.
Possibly. I think YouTube's kind of tough for us. I don't think we're getting views and stuff, but I feel like we're just posting on there sometimes. But I do feel
or TikTok, you're saying?
No, YouTube.
Okay.
Because I don't really know who's watching our stuff on YouTube, but I feel like if we put the Stay Fair stuff on TikTok, that would blow. That would not blow up, but it would do better because it's for TikTok. The way the content is made is for people who like are on TikTok, I guess, or Instagram.
Somebody, there's like a riveting comment that my friend Sun Yi, his name is, said, and he said, it was about like writing a book. He said, do you want to write a book because you want your message heard, or do you want to write a long form book because it's your ego speaking, I want to make this so great? And he condensed it down to YouTube. Do you want to make this YouTube video because you want it to be long form? Why don't you just take bits and pieces of that video and make it 20 little videos on TikTok, see what takes off, and your message will get seen, heard, and viewed that much more than if you just do one long form video. So to me, that like really resonated, especially for me to talk to my audience, because now I have a podcast. I mean, I've had a business for 5 years. Everybody's like, when are you gonna have a podcast? When are you gonna have a podcast? Well, I need to get my message seen and heard and viewed and aligned with and spoken about before I create this big long form. But I don't want to say your guys' defense, there's 2 ways to do it. All like low, like speaking businesses, all low ticket to funnel to high ticket, or starting high ticket and going to low ticket. Same with content creation, starting with long form and then segmenting it out to short form, or starting with short form and then creating long form content.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think it's for us at least, right? Like long form content being like a vlog, call it. Like I think we have the cameras, and like the editing techniques to like make it worth it. Like we can shoot and edit a vlog like quick, you know.
Speed
I think
wins.
for someone without that like technical know-how, I think the short form and then learning how to optimize and create things quickly and then jumping into the long form might make sense. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. And for businesses, I think like for us I would say we more or less started long form. Would you say?
Yeah. It's kind of like crazy though, because like some people do like the day in a life in short form, but people do like day in a life in long form.
Yeah.
So like you can start really short if you wanted to, and then work your way to a bigger long form, or you could do the other way. But I do see a lot of people who are like creating on like TikTok and Reels, and then they start to get into the YouTube because they want to do more long form, but they have that audience on those platforms.
I think, back in January, I worked with a sports marketing agency, and we were at Wadapalooza for the CrossFit competition. And I worked with an amazing photographer and a videographer. And in their game, speed wins. They literally take the picture, the event gets done, they run back to the hotel room, they edit the video, they edit the picture, and they post it in 9 minutes. They go to the event early to create all what I'm going to call just I don't know a lot about photography, but all the presets. The videographer, he meets up with the photographer. What's the vibe? What's the mood? What are we creating? They will post minutes after in the brand vibe after the event. And then when everything's said and done, the event's over with, they will give themselves 1 day to create that long form piece of content so that they can close the project, close the contract, and move on to the next thing, and it's not looming. It was insane. I did written stuff like copywriting, things for them. I did all the interviewing, and it was Hilary, I need a caption. What are you going to interview them on? What's the questions you're going to ask? And it was boom, 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 just on to the next thing. So speed wins, in my opinion, in content creation for sure, unless you are not trying to, the sports marketing agency is against other sports marketing agencies at this event. Who will post that 345-pound snatch first?
Yeah.
This agency or this agency? That one's going to get more shares. They're going to get more noticed, all of that. So it's insane.
Wow. And they're just running all day.
All day.
They must never turn it off.
7 days. It was 7 days. We were there for 7 days.
There's something beautiful about wrapping the project up before you leave, though.
Dude.
I feel that's got to be super cool. Like you said, it's not looming.
There were days where it was the last event was at 8 p.m. I'd go back to their hotel room, stay till about 10:30. They're still posting, editing. I'm dude, you guys, I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. But that's their daily life.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy. Back to one thing I wanted to ask you. We kind of sped past it, but you were saying so you take a long form content, chop it up into short form. Let's say we have a vlog, right?
Yep.
Would you recommend chopping that long form piece of content up into short form in little bits and pieces, like cool little snippets in the vlog? Or would you recommend posting it like part 1 of 8, part 2 of 8, part 3 of 8?
Ooh, that's such a good question. I feel like both. You need to understand what your audience wants. Mm-hmm. What do they want to see? Literally trial and error. If you have a long form podcast, you see this if you're on TikTok, but people on TikTok who have a podcast, they will have 5 to 7 second clips that are just good hooks throughout the podcast and then lead them to the long form podcast episode. Or there are people that will basically drip out like a 10-minute long segment and it'll be like for part 2, here's part 3. I've done both of them. My audience, honestly, I don't want to say it sucks, but they like both. So you just need to understand, what do the people in your space, what do they engage with, align with, like? Then double down on that and do more of it. But you won't know that until you create and publish consistently and often, so that you can funnel down to, this is what works, this is the marketing plan. You let your audience dictate the plan.
Yeah. It won't hurt to try to like A/B test, like do one with one vlog, and if we do another vlog, do the other one, and see how it works. But yeah, I feel like the hooks do really well. Like we have a lot of like in our vlogs, like a lot of like interesting, like I don't know, like climatic events throughout the vlog that are like pretty good. So we could like cut those in short pieces.
You can do what eye-catching things for you guys. You guys are very like visual too. So for me, it's my words, but you can be eye-catching with hooks with visuals or like, I don't even know what else, but it doesn't have to just be the words that you're saying. So to me, I feel like that would be better, chopping up the vlog and having different hooks either through visuals or words that you're saying versus like, here's our vlog on a day in the life. I don't know how to say it.
I don't know. That's insane. It's so interesting because I would say that with our production gear, our production know-how, like the visuals always look good on like any vlog we make, the podcast we shoot, like all that. But it's so funny that it's come such a long way, because I remember days on YouTube when I was a kid and watching YouTube videos and being like, oh, this one's like high quality, nice. Like I'm going to subscribe to this channel or like watch this. Now it's like that is not really the case. Like visuals don't get you that far. It really like you need a few different facets. You need like comedic value. You need good words. You need
the editing, like editing, the cuts. We'll use like animations and like sound effects too, so like that kind of adds into the production a little bit and the way that like people relate to it, because I don't know, in the vlog I add like meme sound effects, like people know that's the sound, so like they know.
The vlog turned out so good, and it actually almost has 1,000 views already, which is
oh my gosh, the State Fair one. Oh my gosh, see, but you guys edited it, whatever that word is, edited it whatever it is quickly. The State Fair just ended. So like that's hot. Like that's speed wins. You guys put it out.
We went there the first day. We posted our food review day 2 in the morning, and posted our vlog I think day 3.
See, good job. And good students.
And got all that stuff out. But then it's so funny because like we have this one video. It's like the Miami Swim Week recap, and that video has like 16,000 views.
And it's been a while, like 4 or 5, I don't know how many
4 or 5 weeks, but like people just click on it because it's like Miami Swim Week. And I don't know. I feel like it just like kind of clickbait.
Yeah, that works.
But it's like, I don't know, kind of interesting. I was like, what the heck? So you never really know. I don't know. It's so weird. You never really know what's going to do good. And I feel like you say like, do what your audience tells you to do. I agree with that, but I feel like you really, I mean, you were saying like 7 TikToks a day for however many days, but like, you would have to put out so much content to like know what your audience is doing. Like I'd say we're like 2 or 3 months into like a really heavy content push, and I would say I don't know our audience that well. Like, I mean, every platform is different, but
I think let's go back to Matt. He posted 3 to 7 videos a day for 16 months. Then he was like, "Oh, this is good. Okay," does that.
I think a lot of the people who are watching are like other content creators too, so like people like to see what our team is doing like behind the scenes, but also like if we like make a reel more catered towards like people who do the same thing that we do, kind of like having that community within that. I think
you need to understand. Yeah, like I think sometimes people get too high. This isn't you guys, but sometimes people get too high level because they're trying to impress the people that do what they do. But guess what? They're not selling. You're not selling to them.
And it's not speed.
And it's, yeah.
You don't get a lot of speed when you're trying to be perfectionist and make everything.
Yeah. So it's like, are you you just need to ask yourself, with this piece of content, am I creating this content because I want to build community and make friends with other content creators? Or am I making this because I want to inform, educate, inspire, be funny to eventually get other businesses that want to work with me? And if you're wanting to do the second aspect, speed wins. It doesn't need to be perfect. Get your message out there and do it consistently and often. And if you do that for 90 days, you are more than likely to get way more inquiries of people that want to work with you. People that have a high level of education, they tend to be perfectionists with their work because they want to impress the people on their level, but they're not selling to them. That's what I have to constantly remind them.
Yeah. Speaking of like making money with your work and having, people reach out and finding synergies, like with brand deals, can you give me, I know we talked a little bit before the podcast, you didn't have a ton of you're like, I don't know a ton about brand deals, but obviously your clients work with brand deals and you've been in the mix on a few conversations. Like, can you give us some idea of like what a brand deal looks like from start to finish, or how to kind of pitch yourself to a brand? Yeah.
So I have currently am working with one brand right now, and I talked about that brand for 2 years. It's an email marketing platform. It's called Active Campaign. I use it over and over and over again. Actually, they came to me. So I have this mentality. It's like, don't come for me unless I send for you, except for brand deals. Because I want them to want me, because then I have leverage. Now, as far as like some of my clients, I talked about Lawson with the hockey guys. He talked about this. His very first brand deal, they had 500,000 followers on their TikTok. And I believe he said his first brand deal was $5,000. And I think that brand also came to them. I have a client, she creates UGC content for brands, meaning she doesn't have to post it. UGC, user generated content. You guys know what that is. Like when you see a brand that has like an actual person like trying on the bra or whatever.
Yeah,
everybody knows what that is. Yeah. She pitches to brands all the time with that. There's like a template that she sends out. I think the most important piece in anything, and then I want your take on this too, Chase, but is just like, be a human. Don't be a robot. Don't try to be this fancy person. Just literally message them from your your email. Message them on Instagram. Let them know that you're a real, true human being with a beating heart and you're passionate about their product, and you would love to help them out with their marketing, and you use them all the time. Like, in my opinion, I would want that when people pitch to me on my podcast already. I don't want an automated message from their manager. Like, dude, just send me a message,
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Well, so my thought was kind of like this. I recently went to the state fair, and me and my friend, we just brought a lav mic and we were just interviewing people at the state fair, right? And I had like so much fun doing it. And it was kind of what I brought up earlier, where I was like already thinking of like, how could you get brand deals? How could you make money off of it? And I met with one of my friends who is really like well-versed in that space, specifically like the brand deal space. And he was like, dude, you just gotta like, you can literally pitch a brand, and if it's such a good fit, it just seems like such a no-brainer for these brands to kind of like sponsor you or give you some money to create the content. So like, for example, we went to the state fair and we're interviewing like a bunch of college kids, and the topic was awesome. It was like, what is dating life like in college, right? And all these people are like, no one's loyal. They're like, and they're drinking, and they're like a lot of times people are like pretty intoxicated and like, and but they're giving like real good answers. But like, look at that. You have like college kids that are intoxicated, drinking. Liquid IV would be a great sponsor. Totally. Right? And then like we wanted to go to like the Vikings game and sit outside the Vikings game and like interview people about like football or like players that are overrated or like, I don't know, make stuff like that. SeatGeek could be such a good sponsor for that. So like sometimes the content is so perfectly aligned with the brand. It's like, you know that if you reach out to that brand or a brand that does similar things, you could hit like Ticketmaster, SeatGeek, and like StubHub or something. And you could email all three of them. First one to respond, they'll just put their little logo in the corner of the video, and there you go. So like, I just thought that was insane because I always had thought like brand deals have to come to you and you have to create the content, they find you. But like, you can literally pitch brands. It doesn't matter how big you are. Like, if you have a concept that fits, send it out, prospect them.
My really good friend is the head of marketing at Vivid Seats, and she talks about, you know, when you see creators create the content that would align with their audience, like you said, it's a no-brainer. So create your content with the brand that you have in mind. You don't have to like talk about the brand, but create the content with them in mind. Hockey Guys, really perfect example of that is that they were like, it was an easy sell for them to have like Heineken as a brand deal. They're going to games. They're hockey players. You know what I mean? It's just like seems like it was an easy shoe-in. They didn't start making content thinking, we want to deal with Heineken. We want to deal with Celsius. No, they created the content and they realized, this is in alignment with our brand personality, our brand visuals, our brand vibe, all of those things, that it was just like what you said. It was an easy shoe-in. But for you, Chase, you're super multi-passionate and you have a lot of ideas. So if you want to do that, you need to do that every day for 90 days in order to get Vivid Seats to say, here's 50K.
100%. Well, I thought it was just so easy. Like, I thought it was just like so easy. I was just like going up to people, talking with people. I was like, I don't know if this comes easy to me or if I'm just having like the best time ever. But I was like, we got like probably like 20 TikToks just in like an hour of me just like running up to people and just like interviewing them.
That's
and like
that girl Giggle Squad, she does that. She's like on the street, she interviews people. Now she's this giant. I just watched her at whatever it is here in the North Loop. I just came and visited her, and she like did a lot of TikToks about interviewing people on the street.
Well, and we thought like we were thinking back to like the passion behind it, and we thought like we could make shirts that just say like say hi, and it's like, don't be afraid to just approach people and say what's up kind of thing. That. And there could be like kind of a mission or like a purpose behind like what we're creating. So I don't know. That's like super in the works. Probably like, I don't know. It's just fun
so
for us
good.
to just dream and like think of things like that. But yeah, I think that's super interesting. And I guess last question on the brand deals thing. You talk about the Hockey Guys, and for the listener who doesn't maybe know the Hockey Guys, or maybe you do, they're a podcasting group, right? And they create content on TikTok, and they're kind of just like a content creator group.
And they all kind of have their own vibe. You should get them on. What the heck?
Make the connection.
That's the thing, okay? That's the connection.
Make the connection. But how do you know your worth? Like you said, their first brand deal was $5,000. I'm sure there's brands that reach out and say, here's a brand deal. We got a brand deal for you. We'll give you $5. Like, how do you know your worth?
Okay.
When it's your first one.
Wow, this is like such a vulnerable moment. Okay. First brand deal, or like they came to me and I literally looked up on Google, what do I charge if I have this many followers for this many videos they're requesting, and this is my reach and engagement? And that's what I said. Like literally that was it. Now, after that, I started talking with other people about brand deals and about what people charge and how to navigate that. Like, oh, you can tell them 5,000, but really you want 3,500 and they'll come back with 4. Like, it's just like this negotiation that's like behind the scenes that you don't realize or know until you know. I think that there's like I don't even know, like a hidden spreadsheet on like based upon follower count, views, engagement, reach, like all of those things that should be equivalent to how much you should charge for that. Also, how much or when have you worked with a brand and it's converted that brand sales? Because there are content creators out there. I mean, that email marketing platform, she just emailed me back 2 weeks ago and said that I'm their #1 creator. Like anytime they need something done, they're asking me first. I only have 57,000 followers on TikTok, but my marketing is around email marketing, and I'm vulnerable versus, let's say, somebody who has 1.5 million followers. They might charge ActiveCampaign $100,000 to post on their platform. They could get 0 buyers. That email marketing platform is not going to work with that creator who has 1.5 million over me because I actually convert to buyers. So that's why you need to like covet your followers and understand your audience and know what it is that they buy so that you can sell the brand with your engagement and your audience loyalty. I think that that's something that really bothers me is like some of my clients only have 100,000 followers and they can't get a brand deal, but their followers buy anything that they talk about. If I literally posted about like your hat or your shoes that you're wearing, I bet I would get 5 or 6 people of my followers to buy it. They'd be like, Hilary likes it, I'm buying it.
That's
Whereas
crazy.
there's like influencers out there or, you know, people that have 1.5 million followers, they can't get people to buy anything from them.
Yeah. That's super cool.
Because they don't talk to their audience. They don't engage with them.
Yeah. I was like listening to a podcast. They were going through like a bunch of like mega celebrities that can't sell. And it was kind of insane.
Gosh, that's so interesting.
Like, I think like one of them was like, was it Justin Timberlake? I might be talking out of turn here. I don't know all this, but they were like Justin Timberlake or it was someone. They've started like 4 brands and they can't get them to work. And I cannot believe these dang alarms that keep going off.
It's the first Wednesday of every month.
But like they've just been going off like constantly. It's kind of bothering me.
It's like it's 1 o'clock somewhere else, so they're gonna do it again.
Yeah, they're gonna do it again.
I guess so. But I mean, we've already pretty much been going for an hour. We got through like half of the stuff we wanted to talk about.
Only half.
I feel like we could literally go all day, Hilary.
So good.
But I think it was great having you on. I guess like one last thing is just like, do you have any just overall advice, any like tidbits just for people to kind of get started on social and just kind of start moving in the right direction if they're looking to do something like this?
Yeah, I think literally what we even talked about just in the middle today was about understanding like what you're good at, what you're credible in, what you're passionate about, and just start talking about it. And if you can't do that on your own, let a good friend know or somebody who maybe is already doing it a little bit and hold each other accountable to just start showing up and just do. And then let that be your guiding light as to, they want more nutrition and meal prep things more than they do workouts. You'll never know what to create and what to do until you start creating and doing and testing and trial and error and seeing what people are asking you questions on. The worst thing you can do is say, I'm going to create a course on helping people meal plan, and you never talk about it. And then you show up one day and have a post and says, hey, just launched my nutrition business. Let me know if anybody wants to work with me. And we're all of us as consumers are like, I didn't even know you were doing that. You need to invite us along on the journey, document the time, serve and engage, do that for 90 days, and then see where it takes you.
90 days. You heard it here first.
Yeah.
Hilary, where can the people find you if they're looking to just tune into what you're posting, what you're doing?
So I have my own podcast called Honestly with Hilary. On TikTok, I'm Honest CEO Hilary. And then on Instagram, I'm just Hilary Krueger. So funny because people are always like, should I start a new Instagram? I've literally had my Instagram since I've started. And the content just keeps changing as my life goes on. So
yeah. I think the last thing you need is another Instagram page. I think that's for everyone. Like listeners, me, like, you don't need another
Instagram page. No.
But yeah, thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
we'll see you next time.
Yay.
Peace.